Our next speaker is Dr. Nick Comerford. Dr. Comerford is the Dean of UH's College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, or CTAHR. And Nick came from the University of Florida. Nick earned his PhD in silviculture and forestry from the State University of New York. Nick, thank you.
Good morning. I understand I'm the last talk before lunch, so I'm doing this with that in mind. My task today was to give you a feel for what kind of expertise we have in CTAHR. And the approach I'm going to take is more of a flashcard approach, not dwelling on anything in particular, but trying to give you a good feel of the higher level technology that we have a capacity for at the college. And the one thing I want to say up front is very little we do on our own. We do it in close collaboration with agencies here in Hawaii, PBARC being a University of Hilo here being another, and a multitude of universities on the mainland. Next, please. These are the departments in CTAHR. You can see the ones in black are the ones that have obvious relationships to agriculture. But the fact is our other three departments, as you'll see, also have impinge on our needs for agriculture in this state. Next, please. We do have a philosophy of agricultural technologies in the state that has two parts to it. First, we are an education and a research organization. We are not a regulatory organization. We do not tell people what to do. We respect the rights of farmers, producers, consumers to decide which technologies they feel are most appropriate, and our job is to help. Next, please. And then we conduct our research and we develop it with the idea of it potential marketing or utility for the state of Hawaii or the world in mind. And that includes biological, ecological, chemical, and genetic technologies, and we'll try to go through a number of those in the next couple of minutes. Next, please. But I want you to understand that this is only a sampling of what the college does, only with the specific goals of this research or of this convention. It does not in any way represent the vast majority of things that we do as a college in helping agriculture. Next. So, bioconversion. We have faculty that work with the near complete utilization of fruit wastes to produce multiple streams of value added. Value added is where you make money in agriculture. Turning cull wastes into fertilizer, energy sources, microbials, pest control agents. Next. Another example is we have a faculty member working with black soldier flies and the conversion of food wastes into biodiesel products, all under the bioconversion topic. Next. Bioengineering. In this case, one aspect of that is gene editing. And we have a number of projects dealing with gene editing in the college. This one in particular is looking at skeletal muscle development in cattle using CRISPR technologies. We have an animal science program. Next, please. Another bioengineering in terms of gene editing is working with tropical microalgae in order to produce high-value products that come from the algae. This is all agriculture. This is where agriculture will need to go in order to develop as an agricultural system throughout the state. It's not just growing the crop. It's what do you do with the crop? What do you do with the culls of the crop that you can't use? We're an island. We've got to get rid of the waste some way or another, and let's do it so we can make it valuable. Next. Bioengineering still, we also have the capacity for transgenic. The rainbow papaya was given as an example. Of course, this is good in collaboration. Cornell University and mainly PBARC were the main authors of this, but CTAHR provided some expertise. But the point here is that expertise exists within the college if we need to do transgenic GMOs. Next, please. And there's just the general area of genomics. We have good expertise working in genomics. We have faculty that are working with trying to look at the functional genetic determinants that modify traits. So if we do breeding, or if we do gene editing, or if we do gene therapy, that we have a better feel. And I think you saw similar type things at PBARC where we collaborate. Next, please. This is exciting because this is next generation genetic sequencing, again in collaboration with PBARC. We have a scientist who is really doing a job in looking at field-based diagnostics in real time. It's focused on agricultural crops, it's focused on agricultural diseases. However, this has application all throughout any aspect that requires diagnostics in real time, quick, field-based diagnostics. It's exciting. Next, please. This is a particular interest of mine, is nanotechnology and the potential this has. One faculty member has been working with biosensors for detection of foodborne pathogens using carbon nanotubules. We have another faculty member who tells me he's working with nanoparticles in terms of trying to control nematodes. This is an area that really needs to develop and has good future for the state of Hawaii, I think, if we can understand what happens to the nanoparticles in the ecosystem once they're applied. Next, please. Plant breeding. We have a long history of plant breeding on anthuriums and dendrobiums. It's been a stalwart program for maintaining the cut flower industry in this state, particularly with anthuriums. We have a record of averaging about one new cultivar per year for a number of decades. And as you saw with PBARC's evaluation, they've been looking also at understanding gene function. So we can go into the genome and try to do a better job of breeding, a more efficient job of breeding. So it doesn't take us 7 to 14 years to produce a new product. Next, please. Biotransformation is another area that we're very competent in. We have one particular faculty member who works with the enzymatic pathways for pesticide mineralization. Everybody's aware that in Hawaii we have a tremendous input of diseases and insects. Pesticides are always going to be some type of a need in the state, but we don't want them to hang around, and we need to know how and best way to apply them, as well as how best way to get rid of them, and looking at what enzymes are responsible for mineralization will help us get there in the short term and in the long run. Next, please. Food technology. We have a food science program, a very good food science program, and our scientists are working in a number of ways. One which has already been commercialized with the industry is a supercooling of food to make sure that ice crystals don't develop in the processing process. This has been very successful for the college up till now. Next, food technology. You'll see from agricultural products, there's a tremendous amount of phytochemicals that can be produced in our crops and extracted from our crops, and particularly extracted from the culls that we're not going to sell. And we have one scientist working with extracting the antioxidants and nutrients from the cull fruit. However, in order to protect the antioxidants from oxidation, she's working with how to protect them using protein-stabilized oil drops. This is another exciting area in food science. Next, please. I'm a dog lover, so this one is real close to my heart. Matter of fact, I feel any president that doesn't have a dog doesn't have a soul. So we have a scientist working with biodetection technology using canines. Coconut rhinoceros beetle is a serious problem. If you've ever been to Guam, it has devastated the coconuts in Guam. We are trying to avoid that in Hawaii. It is a challenge. And we are working with groups that, these canines that can detect the coconut rhinoceros beetle and help us do monitoring. Next, please. Biocontrol technology. You heard this from Marissa as well. This is something we collaborate on quite closely. A wide number of things are going on in biocontrol in the state. We're very supportive of ARS having a biocontrol facility here in Hilo. And we hope that we can also leverage that into a biocontrol facility on Oahu as well, where our faculty exists. But we expect if ARS gets it, that we'll be able to collaborate quite closely with that group. Just as an example here, the two-line spittlebug is a serious problem on this island in pasture grass. And our scientists have looked at a variety of things, but one of them is fungal control of these bugs. Not that it's actually working at the moment, but this is the way that the research goes, looking at different ways of biocontrol. Really important, particularly when we try to reduce the pesticide loads in agriculture. Biocontrol has its own concerns, but biocontrol is obviously one of the tools that we need to employ. Next, please. This is an interesting biocontrol technology. It doesn't look like Hawaii. It isn't Hawaii. We have a faculty member from South Africa who grew up on those ranges in South Africa. He's there right now, and he has a project going on where he's using bee pheromones that repel elephants from entering South African villages. So one of the philosophies we have is if we're going to be a world-class college, we have to work in the world. And here's a good example of how we're doing it. Next, please. Pesticide delivery technology. We've got a young faculty member that's come in, and she's lacing hydrogels with pesticides as a liquid bait. So instead of applying uniformly, we bait the materials in a much more environmentally friendly manner and still get the same kind of control. So this is a direction that we really need to go more of in terms of bait technologies. Next, please. Pharmaceuticals. In our bioengineering program and our molecular biosciences program, we have some outstanding scientists that are looking at crop plants, taking phytochemicals from crop plants and looking at their application in things beyond agriculture. We have one scientist who has identified chemicals in corn and in soybeans that have potential application to combating Alzheimer's. In the corn, the possibility of removing plaque from brain cells that has been shown in mice. So corn, agricultural crops can still be the salvation of more than just food in this world, but also help us on health issues. And then same with soybeans, and then a number of phytochemicals that have been extracted that seem to have some potential for fighting obesity. And obesity is a serious problem among our underprivileged populations. Next, please. Continuing on the idea of pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals, we've got a food science faculty member who looks at the bioavailability of phytochemicals and bioactive food compounds, but how to maintain them after processing. Because we're going to, in some of these bioactive compounds, they will lose their bioactivity following processing. So what kind of technology do we need to do in order to maintain the ability of these chemicals, these valuable chemicals, and make them useful for the population? Next, please. The microbiome. The microbiome is a hot area these days. Everything from crops to people. We have scientists that are looking at agricultural crops, modifying their root biomes, and looking at the functional mechanisms that exist. It's a complicated area, but it's a real fruitful area, both for crop health, but also for human health. So we're excited about this particular area, and I believe the guys working with this just got about a $1.25 million grant, which we're hoping will show up in a week or two. Next, please. We work with decision support systems. We have a team of scientists looking at how to evaluate the health of soil in Hawaii. Soil health, that's where we're going to maintain sustainability. That's how we're going to maintain diversity in the below-ground ecosystem. Note, if you're interested in biodiversity above ground, it's nothing. It's just a footnote to the diversity that you're going to find below ground. And there's estimates of at least 500 million phytochemicals that are still available if we are able to unlock the treasures that exist in soil. Next, please. GIS modeling in a decision support system. We have a faculty member who has worked with a GIS system statewide and has been able to develop land suitability rankings for a variety of crops on any place in Hawaii, with or without irrigation, and also trying to look at how this might change under future climate changes. Consider if we could combine this with an interactive economics model on an annual basis, think of the value this might be to producers to decide what to plant when, because the first thing you do when you plant, before you plant a seed, is figure out where you're going to sell it and for how much. And that's how you make your decisions. Next, please. Protected agriculture. Instead of advanced technology, let's call this appropriate technology. We're a small state. We have limited land. And something as simple as a screenhouse, even a do-it-yourself screenhouse for which our faculty have developed plans, can be highly productive in these small areas. We've seen a 5 to 7 time increase in productivity per square foot in these simple screenhouses. But maybe as important as the increased productivity is the quality of what comes out. We produce far more number ones than we would in the field and far less numbers 2s and 3s. So while you get more productivity, you have higher quality of what you produce. This has got to be a potential future for the state, and our faculty who have worked with this have also worked with NRCS, which is helping support the cost of these on, I believe, something on over 80 of these throughout the state. This, I believe, is one of the success stories that we need to focus on. Next, please. So that's my flashcard approach to the kind of expertise we have in CTAHR that's available for the future of the state of Hawaii. It in no means represents all the work. We do a tremendous amount of work of agricultural management. Our cooperative extension service is statewide and does an amazing job, particularly during the pandemic, of helping producers and helping families. We are also involved, we run the SNAP Ed, which used to be the food stamp program, education program, and the WIC education program for families in our state to help them better deal with those programs and to teach them the best in nutrition. We have a program called Children for Healthy Living, the CHILL program, which has had amazing results, working with Native Hawaiian and Pacific Island families. They have developed through extension and research a highly interactive and holistic approach to dealing with child obesity around the islands. And then through that approach, they have documented a 12% or more decrease in child obesity because of the program. 12%? Yeah, but that's for their lifetime. That's huge. And there's collateral effects from that too, because the parents had to be taught how to properly feed their children. And this is a generational program that's going to have massive results over the time. So that's my introduction to CTAHR. This is also my last professional talk as a faculty member because I retire a week from tomorrow. And it's been a real pleasure to be here in Hawaii, to work with the quality people in the college and throughout the state. And so I thank you all very much for the past 5 years, and I hope, I look forward to seeing what agriculture in this state, how it develops in the future. So thank you.